I'm taking the strap. I'm strapped up.
What's happening? What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 133 of SZN Podcast. I'm your boy Kam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
As always, guys, you know the drill by now. My usual housekeeping message, please head over to SZN Pod or SZN Podcast. That's our Twitter and Instagram pages. And it's a link in the bio of both of those pages there, which will take you to where we're situated at streaming-wise, whether it's audio you like, so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or if you want your visuals, the YouTube channel link is there. On every platform you can think of, guys, just like, subscribe, give us a follow, all that good stuff. Flowz, rub my hands. I'm looking forward to this one. So episode 143, and I feel like we got two major undisputed fights to review. Cracking weekend of boxing, I must say. And what sport for choice here, Flowz? I mean, both of these fights that we're going to talk about now were crackers. So I don't even know which you could pick which one you want to start with because they both didn't let us down. You want to go the ladies first? Ladies first, yeah. Okay. As always, Flowz, you know, just want to applaud the women.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a must.
It's a must every single time. Standing ovation. Women's boxing is the best thing since sliced bread. Like, it really is. Like it truly is sensational, Flowz. We said this fight was going to be a cracker. It's a given that it's going to be a cracker when it's a women's title fight. It's a given.
Yeah,
and this Chantel Cameron Katie Taylor fight, it definitely delivered. Absolute war from start to finish. Man, hats off to both ladies. Flowz, is it fair to say, bro, that we've seen an upset here?
Yeah.
In the result.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because you say that, but obviously we can't forget Chantel was the undisputed champion. She was defended But given the fact that it was Katie Taylor's homecoming, her first fight in Ireland since turning pro, I think, and just who Katie Taylor is, one of the greatest women's fighters ever. I think the consensus was that she was going to take this on home, so it'll be a beautiful crowning moment for her as she came home. But we said this is going to be a tough fight, and Chantel Cameron is brilliant.
Yeah.
And Flowz, I think to me, this performance from Chantel Cameron, top tier. Like if I'm to grade performances, I'm giving this A-star, top tier. Just from remember what we said, that we highlight the experience factor and the fact that it's a big night, and the big night factor. Katie Taylor's had hundreds of those. This is Chantel's first one, and she might be overawed. The crowd, is raucous. I must say, Flowz, that crowd, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Goosebumps. Yeah. Katie Taylor's walkout, goosebumps, bro. When they came with the I'm coming home, and then obviously she broke into the gospel. Just goosebumps, bro. Goosebumps, bro. Goosebumps. But that crowd was going crazy, as you saw. McGregor, you saw all going crazy in there. So that to me had me thinking that this occasion might be a bit too big for Chantel. How would she do all that crowd pressure? Not only the pressure of the fight itself, but the pressure of the crowd and that. Flowz, first bell went. Chantel steps to Katie and storms to her, walks her down, and starts trading. I said, yo.
What I say, bro? I knew it.
Bab, she didn't even there was no she didn't settle to be on the back foot or nothing. She said, F this, I'm just stepping to this woman and I'm gonna start throwing pressure. And it was pressure from Chantel from the first to the last it's 10 rounds, isn't it? So from the first round to the 10th round, Chantel was the one trying to apply the pressure. And I think the first thing you notice, Flowz, we said it last week, size difference.
Yeah.
Chantel looks so much bigger. I mean, she is much bigger. Can't forget, listeners, okay, they're stepping up and weight to challenge Chantel. So the size difference you see is very noticeable. And I just think, Flowz, that from the off, Chantel knew that, cool, it's clear that I've got the size and strength advantage. I don't think this woman can hurt me. Too tough. I'm just going to walk her down and apply pressure and use my superior size and strength to win me this fight. And to me, Flowz, because this was a close fight, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think that it paid off and it was the right tactic. And I felt she was just as, she was good value for the W. That's just me. but it was a super close fight. Yeah, Flowz, what was your take on it? And yeah, just the fight itself, which was brilliant.
Yeah, I think I said last episode that I could see an upset happening here. I favoured Katie just because homecoming, her hand speed. We talked about the big night experience. She has that. Maybe Chantel, and we said we saw glimpses of maybe Chantel can't handle the pressure of big nights, but she handled it comfortably.
Comfy.
And the reason why I say I could see an upset, Katie Taylor moving up in weight. Katie Taylor's winning her luck in a few decisions already, more than a few decisions at this point, actually. And it's always a close, like I say, it's always a close fight with her because she engages in these type of wars where someone with the hand speed, with the boxing background as her, you expect them to boom, be in and out kind of thing. But nope, she loves to tear up. She loves to trade. And you saw glimpses of her footwork as well when she did use it. But yeah, Chantel Cameron applied pressure from the get-go. Didn't have the hand speed that Katie Taylor had, but the work rate, the output, the pressure was there. And the size, of course. Yeah, we saw in the promos, I was looking at them, I was like, oh, they're making them look like they're the same size.
Just from, look at like forget like the stature in that Flowz. If you compare, for example, their arms, just like so much skinnier Katie's arms look compared to Chantel's. Like Chantel's a big woman, as in compared to Katie. She's a big girl for Katie, you know.
Even the size of their heads. Chantel's
much meaty.
Probably you saw her face was pieced up, maybe because it's a bigger target, but even just little things like that play a factor.
Yeah,
her head was I was just like, everything about it is bigger than
way bigger
Katie
than
Taylor.
Yeah. And she's sure. I mean, we say Katie Taylor is prone to fighting the person's fight, but I think in all of Katie's fights, there's one denominator in terms of all her close fights, or the fights where you're thinking borderline, did she win that? Did she lose that? Pressure. Pressure fighters seem to be her kryptonite. Bassoon applied a whole bag of pressure on her, and that's probably that's one of the most debatable fights. Amanda Serrano, same thing. Crazy pressure, debatable. And now, obviously, you've seen Chantel Cameron. The blueprint was apply pressure. Maybe she took from those other ladies, Bassoon and Serrano. Maybe she used that and thought, you know what, I can see that pressure. She doesn't like pressure. But as you said, Flowz, that was the plan from the get-go. She stepped to her from the first bell, bro, and just started trading and tried to throw this woman around. And I'm thinking, rotted. But I kept saying,
hunting her down. Just hunting her down. She was always in front of her. She was walking her down, trying to be in front of her. Not give her any chance to breathe.
Her conditioning is superb, by the way, because she didn't really let off. She didn't let off. You know, you see, look, with that pressure style, it's a double-edged sword sometimes, in the sense that you have to be physically in amazing shape to keep that up for 12 rounds. 10 rounds. It's tough. She didn't let up at all. So she was clearly took this seriously. She was probably in the best shape of her life. But despite this pressure Flowz that was coming from Chantel, the rounds were close because of just who Katie is. And I will always reiterate, Flo, this woman is such a warrior. I've never seen someone with balls this big, I swear. Like, bro, Kate, she refuses to let herself be drowned out. No. No, Flo, she's a giant mentally. Mentally, she's a monster. Monster, bro. Because despite the pressure on her, this woman will try and fight back with the crazy flurries and combinations, try and get the last word every single time. She's actually a nutcase. Katie Taylor is actually a nutcase, bro.
You can see it. I don't know. Her will is crazy. Like
crazy.
It can't be broken. Like it can't. She looks shattered at times. She looks shattered, and I wouldn't say lost, but she you can see that. This is a log. What Chantel's doing is log. But Kate would never say die attitude. Just unloads. I called and told her to, make it boring the box. I think it was the 7th. And she stood there trading.
Yeah.
Middle. She's like, nah. Brilliant fight to watch, man. And watching Katie's, you're going to get a show with her. It's brilliant.
Facts. And just, it was Flowz. It was that will that kept her in this fight and had her getting rounds as well, because there'll be times where you think Chantel she's in the ascendancy. Katie would come with some crazy combination, and it's looking like Chantel might be, I wouldn't say rocked, but she's taking a step back because of that. And then Katie's looking to apply the pressure. So it was very back and forth between both of them. But I just think that overall, because I think for me, because of that constant pressure flows, it was nonstop. Chantel was always, I think, bossing the rounds, if that makes sense, Flowz. I think she was winning that story of that fight. Yeah. She was one in control and bossing that. And that's why, for me, I gave it to her. It was SD in the end, wasn't it? It wasn't SD in the end.
Yeah, I think one judge gave it a draw.
Oh, no, yeah, sorry. It might be MD.
One a draw, yeah.
Which is, you know what, Flowz? I'm not even mad at a draw. I'm not actually mad at a draw. I thought it was that good of a fight. But, yeah, I think Chantel was good value for it. And I can't lie, Flowz. Because it was such a tight fight, judging scorecards, I'm thinking there's no way she's getting a decision in Dublin. That's the main thing we highlighted last week, Flowz. It's actually nigh impossible for this woman to get a decision in Dublin if it's a close fight and it goes to the scorecards. So I want to commend the judges for not bottling it. Actually, because that crowd, don't forget, Flowz, that crowd, every time Katie Taylor went on her flurry, you saw how crazy the crowd went and how loud it was. It was a den in there, bro.
I had to lower the volume, I can't lie. So I think it's way too tough.
Crowd was crazy. So I want to show some respect to the judges for not bottling it in Ireland and making the white woman, giving the white woman the decision in that sense. So yeah, shout out to the judges for that. But for you, Flowz, was it? I mean, I scored it for Cameron. I thought she won. Were you thinking any different, or did you have a draw, or do you think she was good value for that W?
I had it really close because I didn't catch it at the time because I wanted to wake up for Haney. So I was like, I'll catch this one on the replay.
Okay.
So I watched it later on, and I gave it to Cameron. When I heard it was an upset, I thought Cameron might have run away with it. But I had it really close. I had it 95-96 with 10-10 rounds.
Yeah.
And that was a swing round. It was probably lazy scoring for me at that point, but it was one of the early rounds. So if that went to Katie Taylor, it would have been a draw for me, or it would have been the two other judges' scorecards. So I could see the judges scoring as completely fine on my books. I did feel Cameron done enough to win, and I wouldn't have been mad if a Katie Taylor draw. I think if Katie Taylor won, then it would have been But close fight. But shout out to Chantel Cameron because I think she did deserve it. And I think I'd love to see it again. I'll be real.
I mean, that leads us nicely, Flowz, because there is a rematch clause, and Hearn pretty much Hearn called it wait boy to say it before they even asked him. Bro was basically saying that there's a rematch. I was crazy because he wanted to get out there real quick. He couldn't wait, boy. But yes, there is a rematch clause, and Hearn said straight away the exercise is going to be next. So he said, they're going to do it again.
Wait, we got to shout out final round because that final round was unbelievable.
Funny you mentioned that, Flowz. Good, thank you for reminding me. Let's put this. Is Katie Taylor the best in the business at giving us final rounds?
Yeah, easily.
I think we can give her that award, right?
Yeah. And Katie Taylor, 10th round, is one of the best things in boxing.
Cinema. Get the popcorn.
If you want to show someone to boxing, just like, Katie Taylor, 10th round. Any fight, you pick the fight. Serrano, Jonas, Pursuit.
Even Pursuit, Final rounds, Katie Taylor turns the hell up. Man.
Crazy.
And both Chantel was going for it as well. Both women were going for it in that final round, giving no quarter. Proper phone box stuff, by the way, Flowz. Like, just swingers. I was applauding, bro. I mean, throughout that fight, I was applauding. I was going crazy. I said, this is an incredible scrap. This woman's always a fight of the year candidate still. She really is. Because this is already a potential fight of the year. Like, it's just how competitive it was and stuff. So she really treats us fans. But yeah, the rematch clause is there, which apparently is going to be exercised. Chantel, as a true champion, obviously, she did say she's happy to do it again, but I could tell she'd rather do something else. She said something about, she's tired of having to defend her belt. She wants to go for other people's belts now, which means obviously move up, because it's like you got all the belts in that class. So I think she wants to move up herself.
Or move down? Is she happy to move down and take Katie's belts?
Maybe, yeah, or move down. Yeah, maybe move down. To be fair, that's a shout. Yeah, that is a shout. She could do that. These women move up and down easily anyway, so it doesn't matter. Hey man, she might not have seemed so keen, but the money's gonna be sweet. Let's keep her up. So I know that money's gonna be sweet too. Hey, yeah, she could double it now because she's won. So funny, we haven't even mentioned this. This is actually Katie Taylor's first defeat. Right, deep it. It's her first loss. Massive scalp that Chantel Cameron's taken, and she's still unbeaten. So she's put herself on the map even more to beat Katie Taylor in Ireland, defend her undisputed crowns, and now the rematch, she can really, let her nuts hang on the table, like literally, like real talk. Like she could say, look, all right, cool, I'm the one, I'm the A side now. I saw something that was funny, actually, like a couple of tweets saying how like they felt like because Katie Taylor came out second, Chantel came out first. A couple people try to say, Chantel's an undisputed champion. I don't agree with it. She should come out last. I've never forget that's not how it works, B. That's not how it works. Boy, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. But I don't know what sport you'll be watching, but it's about the draw. It's about the drawability, B. And this is Katie Taylor's homecoming. There's no way you're coming out second after her. No way. That's just how it works.
It was billed as Taylor Cameron, though. It was billed as Taylor Cameron.
Yeah. Which is crazy because that Cameron's got all the belts. That's how it is. You go with the draw, man. You go with the draw. They usually command to the stage when it comes to coming out first, second, or whatever. But yeah, man. Hats off to both these ladies. Flowz, a superb fight. I was applauding. Razor sharp, razor thin, razor close fight. But I think the judges went with the right person.
I wanted to ask you because we've talked about Katie Taylor a few times, and I think you called her to call it a day, retire.
Yeah, I said that if potentially they can get rid of the Serrano rematch, because that was the original plan. That was the initial plan. Serrano rematch in Ireland, and then if she wins, she can bow out nicely with a W and retire. You're gonna ask me if I still want her to go with that. I think she want to go out on a W though, and she still like, she always have that hand speed and whatnot, and she hasn't. I mean, I think she has suffered a little bit of a dip, Flowz, but it's not so much of a dip where it's like, rah. I'm happy for her to go for another try again if she can either rematch Serrano, or if it's the Cameron rematch and then Serrano maybe. I'm happy for her to go out on a high with a W. I feel like if she fights Cameron again and loses again, then maybe you could possibly think about maybe bowing out, get her a nice little, not a soup can, but someone that she's definitely going to beat to bow out in Ireland maybe, then call it a day. But yeah, I'm happy for her to run it back, because that fight was superb and she was great. I thought she was brilliant, but she just came against someone that was just bigger and stronger. So it is what it is.
Okay, I thought you might say
Chantel
might just have her number.
I mean, to be honest, she might. I think Chantel might just have a number, but I think her best bet in beating Chantel Cameron is for her to drop down, as in they both drop. Yeah, I don't think she can beat Chantel Cameron at that class. She's too big and too strong.
Yeah, I think her best bet is for her to bring Chantel down to her division.
Yeah, like size. In fact, pressure and size. Let me say that is maybe because even Pursoon was huge. Pursoon was a lot bigger than her. Serrano, well, to be fair, it's weird because Serrano's smaller. Serrano's technically smaller, but she looks big. It's weird.
It didn't look like the size difference wasn't too huge.
Serrano looked bigger than her, low key to me, even though she was coming up, I think. But yeah, maybe just ranginess and size and then pressure is what, is a bit of if you say it's a kryptonite, it's a little bit of a kryptonite. But yeah, definitely her best bet is making Serrano come to her and challenge for her belts, her undisputed belts. Definitely. Cameron, she can beat her there. Sorry, Cameron. Yes. Yeah.
Agreed.
Cool. Speaking of razor thin fights, Flowz, nice little segue into the next undisputed fight. Also a brilliant fight. Different type of fight. But for me, Flowz, bloody enjoyable. I thoroughly enjoyed last night's fight between Devin Haney and Lomachenko. Flowz, from a technical perspective, which is what I knew it would be, fantastic. Just fantastic, Flowz.
Yeah.
This one we got a lot to say, Flowz, because this one is very, very contentious. Just from the fallout.
The discourse is crazy.
Bro, the discourse is mad. And it is actually split down the middle. It's
leaning towards one side.
Yeah, actually, let me not say down the middle. It's not 50-50, but there's a definite split. And we've got to talk about it. You know, it's our duty here on Strat Season to talk about it. Devin Haney has UD'd Vasily Lomachenko in, honestly, Flowz, this fight was so incredibly hard to score.
Yeah.
Just based on the fact that how close the rounds were. Razor fit. How can, well, I don't say every single round. Let's say 80%, 85% of the rounds were, maybe 90%, mad close, Flowz. Mad close. And this one was tough to score, Flowz. I can't lie. Like, I was really having to call. We said last week how for this one, we're really going to have the Sharingan activate. Like, we're going to have to be Korean. Because, so, you know how certain fights you can look on your phone a little bit and whatever.
Yeah.
This one, impossible. Like, I was even
back and forth.
Flowz, I was trying to tweet. Obviously, you try and live tweet and whatever on the account. I think I did 1 or 2 rounds, and then the next time I tweeted was like round 8. Like,
I had to focus.
Brother, it was tough, man. As you say, Flowz, Ebbs Flow. What? Ebbs Flowz throughout the entire fight. It was frustrating. In fact, Flowz, it was even annoying me, because I'm thinking, okay, cool. Round 1, Loma's round. Next round, Haney. Next round, Loma. Next round, Haney. I'm thinking, when is someone going to go on a flipping run and put some rounds together? So why is it back and forth all the time? Like, crazy.
You know how I say I score fights, I'll break it up into the minutes. So I'll score the first minute, second minute, third minute. At one point I was doing 30 seconds. I was breaking out 10 minutes.
Brother,
like, this is too close. Insanely
close. What the hell? We knew it would be like this. 2 technical masters of their craft. Vasily, we said for him, we expect him to start super fast because he started a bit slow in his last couple of fights, and it hasn't been well. The fights that he lost, lost against Teofimo, that was officially, unofficially lost against Jermaine Ortiz. Both of those fights there, he started slow. We said because he'd be worried. He was probably worried. He was very wary of Teofimo's power. Ortiz as well. I think he knows very well. Hits pretty hard. Wary of Ortiz's power as well. Maybe also not really switched on. But we knew Loma against Haney will come and start quickly or try to assert himself quickly.
Yeah. Partly
because of the fact that Haney is pillow-fisted, unfortunately. Doesn't hit as hard as the other guys. Teofimo knows that as well.
I think Haney might have been annoying Lomachenko in the build-up. From what I was seeing, I was thinking Loma's going to start fast.
he, as if he's saying in basketball, he poked the proverbial bear, as they be saying. He poked the bear. With the whole build-up, and you saw Haney trying to be the villain, and I think he was happy to play the villain role, and then out of nowhere in the weigh-in face-off, he pushes Loma. Hey, he shoved the hell out of that boy, by the way. That was a hard shove.
And he got it. He got it.
You're rude. And people was like, oh, yeah, what's going on? I said, it's all build up. It's all just a fight. Haney's bare nice, I can't lie. Proper nice guy. Like, that's not him. We know that's not really him. Obviously, he takes the piss a little bit. Cambosis was taking the piss because he just knew he was so much better than him. But he was just doing that to sell the fight and build it up. And it worked, I guess, because a lot of people tuned in off the back of that, I feel like, couple casuals. But Flowz, this was so back and forth and such a technical event, man. Like, for me, Loma said that he started fast. I knew he would try and start fast. And I think from what I remember when we watched it the first time, I gave Loma the first round. But I think we saw something that Haney was looking to do early on, and that was go to the body. He started investing in the body from round one, and that was that for an entire fight Flowz. This was a game plan: invest in Lomachenko's body. Now we'll delve into whether that was successful or not, Flowz. But Haney was banging to the body from early, and I was surprised because I expected Haney, right, Flowz. I'm gonna be so real with you, Flowz. I felt like Devin Haney did not fight this fight the right way. Definitely not the way I expected. And it was really frustrating me. Because I'm expecting Devin Haney, who I think is a master at boxing that range and finding his range via the jab and stay on the outside, mid to long range fighting, which he can do against a smaller Lomachenko. But for some reason, Flowz, Devin Haney was happy to meet Lomachenko on the inside and have a scrap with him on the inside. And I was getting annoyed because I'm there thinking to myself, you can't really beat this man at this game. Quicker hands, shorter fists. He's able to come with the shorter punches, sharper punches on the inside. That suits Lomachenko. Why don't you go back to what you know and what you're made and you're best at, which really should be able to handle Lomachenko in terms of staying on the outside, like Teofimo did, and trying to time Lomachenko as he tries to come in and angle his way in. That's what I thought Devin Haney would do. And I just don't feel like the way he fought last night, Flowz, was the most effective for him. I'm going to put that out there. And then, I think it was frustrating me.
I like the body work. I'll be real. And I think he done it to give a new look. I think it's something they've been working on. I think, when you do like a countermeasure, they know what Lomachenko's preparing to do to Haney. So this was like the counter response. He was fighting lower than usual. He wasn't utilizing his jab as much. But the jab was what was setting up his good work, which is what I thought, okay, he would invest in the body for, let's say, 6 rounds and then go back to boom, boom, boxing or whatnot. But he was investing in the body the whole way through. And he
didn't change.
Low. Yeah, he was staying low and he was staying within mid-range almost, as opposed to long. Which was interesting. It made for an interesting fight, to be fair.
It made it more exciting because there was a lot of exchanges. And this is why I say it was a tough round to score, because both of these men are so good defensively.
Yeah.
Barely any punches were landed. Flowz. Barely anything was landing clean. For a long, long time. It was either caught on the glove, slipped, tied up. It was so hard to score. Like both of these men, they showed the stats. This was the lowest accuracy-wise Lomachenko has ever landed on an opponent. And I think it was the same for Devin Haney. This is the lowest he's ever landed on the bike. Both because they're so good defensively and so good technically, they will find it hard for them to land telling punches. Like I'm seeing like rounds where we 5-2 punches landed, 11-5. Like not many stuff is landing because of how good these guys were. But I felt like Flowz that Devin Haney fighting so low was giving Loma a bit of an advantage in terms of him being able to get to Devin Haney because he's a bit lower. Lomachenko doesn't really invest in the body. He's not really a body puncher like that. He always heads. I think that's a byproduct of just his amateur pedigree and whatnot, amateur days. It's very headhunty. He's never really been a massive or a volume body puncher at all. But with Devin Haney dropping so low, I felt like that just made his head a bit of an easy target, especially when Devin Haney's head was on center line a lot of the time. It wasn't really moving it like that. So he was when he was getting caught, he was able to get caught to the head. So that's what was frustrating me. And Flowz, would you say that the body work, because I agree it was good and they were scoring punches, but we know the aim of body work is to slow down your opponent and it should tell in the later rounds. This is why I was saying was it even effective, because Lomachenko didn't slow down one bit this entire fight.
That's what was interesting about it. So well, you would ask the question. I don't think it done what we typically expect from body work.
Yeah.
Because watching it first time round, I was thinking, the body work's having a toll on Lomachenko, And like middle rounds, I thought, okay, because we saw him I think he fell down at one point. He wasn't knocked down. There was one point, he fell down like 2 times. And I thought,
We'll both slip. Yeah.
Yeah, both were slips. They weren't. Yeah. But then I was thinking, you might be feeling the pace here. I don't know. Maybe the body work's But late rounds, there was no slowing down from Lomachenko.
That's when he was at his best. Yeah, later rounds. I don't
But
think it worked in that sense.
In that sense, I don't think it worked. But I do think because he's so good defensively, his defense of his body isn't that great in terms of.
It isn't.
Haney was having more success with body shots than anything else. That's where he was finding the target. That's where he was hitting.
Yeah.
So he was investing in scoring shots that he knows he has a better shot at getting. And I think that's why that might have swayed the judges in the decision, because he was landing those shots and they were clear and obvious, because it was the obvious target for him and he was going for it so blatantly that it was like, okay, he's landing this over and over and over again. So I think it might have worked in that sense of just scoring shots.
And it's interesting, Flowz, because we've seen a lot of fights like this where if you're comparing what's landed, Lomachenko was definitely landing the more telling, the flashier head bouncing back shots during the fight. Because Haney's best success was the body. And with a lot of people, they don't really tend to, let's be honest, headshots catch attention more than body work. So I definitely think Loma was landing the cleaner, or you could say the cleaner headshots, and the shots is like, I looked hard or whatever. But definitely Devin Haney's body work, even though to me it didn't do what you expect normal body work to do, they were scoring shots. But because this was so back and forth, and because both of these guys were so technical and not being, were so good defensively, I'm just there thinking, boy, how are we going to separate these? Like some of these rounds, I'd hate to, me, Flowz, I hate to do 10-10s, but I couldn't help but give 10-10s for some rounds because it was like, what the hell? Like, it's way too close. Yeah. But you start to see in the later rounds, Flowz, where I think then we see finally a fighter go on a bit of a run. And to me, that was Lomachenko. I think it was from round 9 to round 11, Flowz. He wanted like a nice free stretch rounds where he had a lot of success. And he did his best work, I think, in those 3 rounds. And this was just due to the fact that I think, Flowz, he ramped up the pressure a little bit. And finally, I don't know if Devin Haney started to get a bit tired, because it was a high octane in terms of like the work rate from both these men was amazing. But he finally was able to break through and get some of his combinations and angles off. And actually, we see Devin Haney, Flowz, I believe he got hurt a little bit in one of those rounds. Yeah. It might have been round 11 or round 10 and 11. I think there was one round where he only landed 2 shots and I think Lomachenko landed 25. Was that round 11? It might have been round 11.
Yeah,
it was one of those rounds.
Yeah, it was.
Horrid round for Devin Haney. Like, he generally looked hurt. Lomachenko, like, out on his feet, on the back foot. And I'm there thinking, boy, surely Loma's not going to stop this man. Like, he's on the verge. But this is where I think you got to credit Devin Haney, Flowz. He toughed it out. He stuck it out. He toughed it out. And in round 12, where a lot of people were saying, I think by that stretch, Flowz, I think I had Lomachenko up. And I think that, to me, I feel like Devin Haney might need a knockout to stop Lomachenko. Other people were saying Devin Haney needs to win this round for it to be a draw. Or I had a lot of people telling me, for going into the 12th, whoever wins this round wins the fight. It was that close.
Yeah.
Devin Haney showed me something in the 12th round, which I knew he would, to be fair. I know Devin Haney's got the minerals, Flowz, but after having like a torrid couple of rounds, he really stepped up in that 12th round and got back onto his sort of trying to catch Lomachenko every time Lomachenko came in, the check counters and whatnot. He was doing that beautifully and timing Lomachenko every time he came in. And Loma as well would have his periods of success where he was able to land his combinations. So it was a very competitive fight for us throughout. That 12th round I gave to Haney just about. But again, flipping close. So close, Flowz. I think that's the theme of this fight, Flowz. It was actually, there was nothing in between both of these, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I agree. It was, super close. And there's, I've said this on this pod before. There's fights where you can be like, okay, one person wins 6 rounds comfortably, one person wins another 6 rounds comfortably, and you say, oh, that's a close fight, it's a draw. But this one, where each round is competitive and close, makes it so hard to score. It makes it stupidly hard to score. And I probably had 3 or 4 swing rounds. I watched it twice, and I had 3 or 4 swing rounds where I just, it could go either way, like legit go either way for me.
What and Flowz, when I say how close this was, I also watched it back today.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing different stuff. I'm thinking, actually, I might actually give it, like, I'm comparing my initial scorecard and I'm thinking, oh, hang on, actually, I might give, because I remember, for example, the first round I gave to Loma last night.
Yeah.
I rewatched it today and think to myself, actually, Haney, that could be, I think Haney's just taking that round, like,
yeah.
I'm seeing different things. Yes, because that's how close it was, Flowz. Crazy. Yeah, one of the hardest fights to score, I can't lie, Flowz. Just because of how good both these men is. This is elite level boxing. It's the highest peak you can ever get to.
Yeah.
Honestly, Flowz. But yeah, Flowz, we've got to get to the decision.
Yeah.
We've got to talk about it. Yeah. So, with the big decision, Flowz. After the bell went, Flowz, I'm gonna say who I felt won. I believe, to me, I had it, I think, 7-5 in favor of Vasily Lomachenko. I felt at the time that he did just about enough. Crazy close fight. But for me, he took that. That's when I watched it last night. I'm intrigued to know, because I don't think I asked you, Flowz. Did you have it the other way, 7-5 Haney?
I had a draw.
Okay, you had a draw. Okay.
I had a draw live. Yeah, I had a draw.
Yeah.
I think Haney took the last round when I watched it live.
Okay. Yep.
And yeah, because I had him 4-2 up after the first 6 rounds, Haney. I don't think many people did, but I had him 4-2 up.
I think I might have as well.
And then yeah.
I just felt like Haney, for me, Flowz, the turning point was that 9th, 10th, 11th stretch where I felt that Loma put those rounds together, I think was a swing point, the turning point for me. But again, like I said, I watched it this morning and I'm seeing different things and I'm thinking, oh, actually, maybe I can give it 7-5 to Haney. So it's crazy. But last night at the time, I said I was quite firm in thinking, I think Loma's just done this. However, if it's a draw or if it's Haney that takes it, I'm not mad at all. It was that tight, that close. So we get to the scoring now. And you hear 116, 112, the first scorecard. I thought, ooh, that's wider than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Okay. Next two then say 115, 113. I'm like, okay, that's more like it. That's what I expected to be. And then, they said, and still, Devin Haney, obviously, the celebrations, the Coup de Wild celebrations, Loma, you can see the anguish in his face from the jump. Like, I felt for Loma, man, because you feel for boxers when you put your all in and you come up short, especially in a razor type fight like that. Razor thin fight like that, it's tough. It really hurts. And obviously, you saw the scenes after Flowz where bro was bawling his eyes out in the changing rooms and stuff. Like this one cut him deep. I could tell. But
he knew it was. Well, he said himself it was last chance to lose. In the press conference. So
yeah, tough. Boxing's cruel, man. It can be cruel. High level sports is cruel. Like I said, these guys train for 6 months, put themselves through hell, and then to be on the receiving end of a judging decision that doesn't go their way, it's tough. But I want to talk about the scorecards. Well, not even the scorecard. There's only one scorecard I thought was egregious. The 116, 112. I don't know what that judge was seeing, but to me, that was poor. But the other two I'm cool with. But it's the fallout post this, because obviously it was a very pro-Lomachenko crowd. So immediately you saw the boos ringing out. Like Devin Haney could barely speak, they were booing the hell out of him. And then we're seeing the reaction on the timeline Flowz and just other boxing circles and stuff. And to be fair, I think at the time, I felt like I was seeing 50-50 split. But from this, obviously I've checked it this morning, I'm seeing it's actually a lot more favoured in Loma's side in terms of the reaction, people saying who won. But at the time, I was seeing 50-50. I was seeing some people saying Haney. Other people saying Loma. My peoples my friends, family who watched the fight as well. I think one scored it a draw. Another one, my mate said 7-5 Haney. One of my mates said it should be an SD Haney. So it was tough. It was one of those ones, Flowz. But what I want to get to the bottom of, Flowz, and what I want to go at right now is the use of the word robbery in boxing, because it's being used wrong, and it irks me a lot, Flowz. Because I was seeing, cool, you can think that Loma won or whatever, but I'm there seeing that Loma was robbed. It's a robbery. It's a robbery. It's a robbery. This isn't a robbery. I don't think a razor thin fight can be deemed a robbery. I think the one scorecard was an issue. Cool, that it was bad, but we're not gonna sit here and say that Loma was robbed. Robbery. What robbery denotes, Flowz, is that Lomachenko washed this guy out and got shafted. But that's not what happened. Yeah. It was every round was bloody hard to score. It was close as hell. Yeah. So the use of the word robbery, I think casuals and just boxing for heads, every time a decision that doesn't go their way, because of the fact that they fanboy people so much.
Yeah.
Because it's fanboy influence, because they're Loma stands or whatever, or stands or whatever, because he doesn't get the decision, it's a robbery. That's not the case. Robbery is always, when we say robbery in this sport, is a case of if Lomachenko was washing Haney, as in battered him, pillar to post, clear. Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall, that's a robbery. That's what we call robbery, guys. Not this. So I just want to get that out there, Flowz, because it was annoying me. I kept saying, bro, you'll see it today. Yeah. It was trending, hashtag robbery. I clicked on it, and it was obviously about Lomachenko and thingy. It was mad. It's not a robbery. It was a close fight. But yeah.
It happens when, like you say, when people fanboy and they invested into one fighter and they want them to win. That's what it is. The scorecards live watching it when I heard 116, 12, 112, I thought, they're gonna give it to Loma. Like, I thought that scoreline was crazy at the time. At the time, I thought it was crazy because it was such a close fight. I was like, where did you differentiate it that much?
Yeah.
And because I expected hearing, I thought maybe I thought a split decision before they went. I thought because they were taking time over the scorecards. I thought, split decision. Yeah. Let's see who. But then it was a UD, and in watching it back, I actually gave it to Haney watching it back. But I will say at the same time, still watching it back, I would have been happy if you gave it to Loma.
You can see, right? So I'm the same, Flowz. Loma, but I can see if you gave it to Haney, cool. I'm not mad at that. It was that close. And it's, like I said, you watch it back, you see certain rounds, you think, oh no, I think he took it actually or whatever. And a draw, I'm not mad. Draws, in fact, draws fine as well. Like it's not, I'm not mad at it.
Look, it could have been either 115, 113 to Haney. But honestly, it could have been 115, 114 if I'm giving. Because I didn't want to give any 10-10 rounds, but I feel like I should have because some rounds were super close. Yeah, actually, I think mine was 114, 130, you know. And if I watched it back today, you know, something like maybe I can go 115, 113. But yeah, it was that close, as we say. It was so close. And because it was so close, I'm not that mad at the judge who gave it 116, 112, because really and truly, that's 2 rounds to Haney. That's all it is. And when it's that close, and you'll see, maybe he really liked the bodywork, even though I can't give it 160, 112, watching it twice.
You understand the logic.
I understand logic. Like he's given, these are super close rounds. He's given 2 rounds to Haney more than Lomachenko. That's all it is, because there's only a certain amount of rounds you can win. So I ain't as mad as it, because it's not like it was 117, 113. I'll be like, you're bugging. Yeah. And that's part of the robbery thing. When you talk about robberies, there was no judges who just said, Haney washed him. Yeah. the judges had it close as well. That's fair. So, once again, people on the screen robbery. I think Haney's not the most liked guy. They've always criticized Haney. Whatever he does, they never give him credit.
And for the most part, Loma is super liked. Right? Loma is very, very liked, and obviously they threw in the whole Ukraine thing as well, that kind of stuff. In it. So national icon, hero, and that. So, and then obviously Haney's antics would have also added fuel to the fire in terms of him being the villain. Once Loma, it's crazy because like I said, this fight was in Vegas, and Haney's lived in Vegas for a long, long time. But it seemed like he was the away fighter. Like, it's mad. But it is what it is.
That's why I thought they're going to give it to. I thought he has that to be. He's the villain. Loma's loved. There's
Yeah.
politics involved. I thought I was even thinking, Haney, you're gonna have to do more than this to get it. But he should be thankful because the fight was slipping away from him at some point.
I think I said Flowz. Haney got away, but yeah, he kind of got away with one last night in a sense because of the fact that it was so close, and because I felt like he wasn't boxing the right way, and I felt like he could have still not watched Lomachenko, still would have been razor close, but I felt like he could have fought in a better way that suited him and would have suited what the judges. What do you think? I could say that in hindsight, but the judges scored it for him in the end. So, but I felt like he could have done other stuff, i.e., keeping it on the outside, which could have made it a little less hairy for him because he had some hairy moments in there, as we saw.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why I think people are saying this, just because.
Yes.
There are two reasons. People are saying because Loma had 2 dominant rounds, 2 or 3. I think 10 to 11 were dominant rounds.
Yeah.
They're not factoring. It doesn't matter. Those are just 1 or 2 rounds. You win them the same as whether you win a close round.
Yeah.
So just because he washed him in that 11th round, and that's one of the most decisive rounds, that doesn't mean that doesn't weigh more than a close round. It's still the same.
That's how boxing is.
No knockdowns. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and again, it's
pull
also
up the punch stats as well
because Loma threw and landed more. Yeah, more accurate. But also, it doesn't matter. It's also Flowz as well. You play again, like I said, it plays into the whole Lomachenko headhunting and bopping. Obviously, headshots are going to bop your head back. That's the oohs and ahs. That's what gets the crowd going. You see that more, whereas the body work a bit more subtle. You don't really see it. You see a lot of times when the body comes in, they're coming forward. It's sometimes the body shots are disguised. You don't actually see it coming. You don't see it. It's harder for it to see. It's harder for a casual or whatever to take that in. And so you're comparing those two, comparing and contrasting. I saw people that I knew were saying that, Haney hasn't impressed me at all. I don't rate him, man. He's definitely getting knocked out by Tank and Shakur, blah, blah, blah. I saw people denouncing Haney, saying he's a fraud, bro. Yikes. He's a fraud. Like, people were saying that, he's not all that. For you, Flowz, his performance, did you think it was a good performance from Haney? Do you think he could have performed better, or were you surprised at how Loma was able to give him those hairy? Because Haney's known as defensive master.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that Haney was able? Because Loma did get to him a couple of times. Were you surprised at how it happened and how worried Haney looked in there at some points?
I think the 11th I was worried about if Haney gets stopped at his peak. I was at his peak. Was I impressed with the performance? Yeah, I guess I think early on his defense was good. He was doing smart things in there. He was being rough at points as well. He was being rough in the clinches early on, which I thought was quite smart.
He tried to be.
Yeah, it wasn't effective.
Loma was throwing that boy around, boy. Loma was a smaller man, but he was trying to enforce he said, you know what?
Yeah.
You think you're bigger than I'm going to throw you. Every time Loma would hip toss it. Every time.
Yeah, he was spinning. Because Haney was trying to be dirty earlier in those clinches. But anyway, I just felt this is a level of opponent that Haney ain't faced before. Even early on, I think I was almost thinking Haney's too green. I was even thinking Haney might not be ready. He's 24.
Yeah,
he's 24.
And if you think massive, like you said, Flowz, massive step up in competition. Yeah. Massive, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think Lomachenko's given anyone hell. Yeah. So it don't matter. You can't say he's a hype train because he went close. He went close with Lomachenko.
Very fair, yeah. Very fair point.
You can't discredit someone for having a tough day against Lomachenko. So I think he'll learn from that fight. I'm impressed because he had a good fight against a close fight, whatever. He come away with the decision on my scorecard and got a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to say, poor. I think he could have fought better. I think there's always room for improvement.
Oh, for sure.
I think the jab should have been more frequent.
Yeah.
For sure. But I'm not mad at the performance.
My only gripe with Haney, I guess, and the performance was, like I said, I just don't know. I felt like tactically I wouldn't have gone that way.
Yeah,
like I said, the jab, who I think he has a great jab, especially as a rangefinder, was lacking. I thought he would have fought a different way, so I think I was disappointed in that sense. From that, I felt like he should have done that. That's what. I definitely felt like he could have fought better. But yeah, man, it's Lomachenko, and I think a lot of people were surprised as well at the fact that they expected Loma, or the narrative that was being pushed a little bit for us was that Loma is fading. 35 now. Didn't look good at all. Obviously lost to Teofimo. Didn't look good against Jermaine Ortiz. I think Lomachenko actually surprised a lot of people in terms of how much he's got left in the tank. But we said Loma's going to be the most motivated you've ever seen, and he'll be a monster in there. I don't think a lot of people realize that. And obviously they seen that performance from Loma and thought to themselves, rah, he isn't finished. He's still got it. He's still a problem for everyone.
Yeah.
Which leads to the question, Flowz. I mean, I've been pretty vocal about it, Flowz, but in terms of what's next for Lomachenko, obviously he was crying. He'd say it was like a last chance saloon. I don't think it's a last chance saloon. It maybe at 135 it is, but I still think Loma should drop that down to 130. I still think that. I just think these 135 pounders, the size of them compared to him these days, it's just going to be tough for him in that sense. At 130, I still think he rips it up and he can have great fights down there. Yeah, man. I think Lomachenko. The thing is, on any other day he could have won this fight, and he probably all the other contenders at 135, he probably works them. Not works them, but he really, really gives them problems.
Yeah.
But 130, I just know he's a lot more solidified, and I do think that he should drop that down. And on the inverse, Haney, I think he's move up to 140, bro.
You move up, bro. One of John Cambosis Jr.
Yeah, I think Haney, it's time to, obviously Shakur came into the ring. We already know what's up with them two. Shakur looking at his chops, boy. He wants this boy so badly. The way he said, yeah, man, I tried, they ran. He said they ran out the ring. He said Bill Haney ran out the ring. You saw the little exchange they had. Obviously, Haney looked at me and said, "I'm number one."
Yeah, I'm number one now.
and then cut. Shakur said, "For now."
Hey, there for now.
For now.
I love Shakur's energy, man. He's on it.
Best energy, man. Best energy.
Pull up, gang.
Yeah, obviously, look, it's gonna happen between these two. It probably won't happen in 135. I don't know. If Haney wants to, it's down to Haney. He was pretty cryptic. He said, if it makes sense, he'll go back with his team and whatnot. If he has to move up, he'll move up. He said something about he might move up to 140, test the waters, and then come back down to defend his titles if the fight gets made with him or with Shakur or Tank. I think that's who the world wants to see next, right? Haney versus Tank or Shakur. We know Shakur is easy to make, possibly with obviously Top Rank and Haney being a free agent. But then again, if he's a free agent, he can easily go over to BBC as well. It doesn't make a difference. Yeah. But we want to see one of those two get it in. It doesn't need to happen now, Flowz. It actually doesn't. It'd be great to have it now, but it doesn't need to happen now. And if Haney's killing himself making 135, which I believe he is, I think he should move up. Test the waters there.
Yeah. I'll start with Lomachenko. I agree. I think he should move down, but I think he's looking for big money fights. I don't think there's any big money names at 130 at the minute. And so the only fights out there for him. I'm trying to
familiarize myself with the division again.
Joe Cordina's the champ down there, no?
Okay, yeah. Cordina, yep.
Yeah. So I highly imagine him being
that's not a money fight. Joe's sick, but it's not a money fight still.
Yeah, I don't think there's money fights. I think the money fights are at 135 and 140. They're not moving up to 140. So I think Tank is the final payout for him. I think see Tank. I don't know if Tank maybe Tank will want to see him now after a few shaky performances, because let's keep a buck. Mayweather Promotions kept that boy away from Lomachenko.
They did, yeah. It's now back then it wouldn't have been involved for Tank, but now it's not going to involve for Lomachenko, I don't think. What about Core? Both on Top Rank.
Yeah, but it's not going to involve for Loma as well.
I was going to say, it's not going to involve for Loma, but it's well money, I think, compared to there won't be much money in it at all.
Yeah, it's not huge money. The biggest money for him is Tank. Yeah. Biggest money for him is Tank.
Thanks.
So have that, then maybe buy out.
Cash out. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's time for him to cash out. He's 35. He looked. Yeah, we saw how much effort he put into that.
Bro, he was distraught, man. He was distraught.
a hard year as well, a hard few years because he was meant to fight
Yeah.
Kam Flowz Jr. for
Yeah.
undisputed.
Yeah.
But obviously the issues with Ukraine happened.
Ukraine.
So yeah. So yeah, it's been tough for Lomachenko, and he's fought back brilliantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's maybe time for him to cash out. And hopefully they can make a tag, because I would love to see that. That's a huge fight.
Yeah.
Tank for Loma. Now Haney, on the other hand, also a huge fight with Tank, but I really believe he should move up. If I don't hear any excuses when these fights are made, and him making 135, he's openly said it's a struggle, it's difficult. Okay, don't make it happen. Move up. These men will move up. I know Kerr will move up.
Tank's already been up. So.
He's dabbled there. He's moved down. He's done. He moves around. So it's possible. That 140 is where I see the sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
With all these fights happening, because I even see these men trying to move up to 147 at some point.
Yeah, they will.
And I don't know if that will be the sweet spot. I think 140 is the sweet spot for these guys.
It's a good in between. I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
and there's killers in that division already. So it's like there's a lot of people to get in the mix with.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
man. I agree. Yeah. Haney move up if possible and Thingy move down. But hey, if Tank and Core versus Haney can be made, I mean, if they do somehow do it, then fair enough. I'm not gonna say no to it. Am I, Flowz? I still maintain that Tank does Devin Haney dirty, unfortunately. I still maintain it does him dirty, bro. Stops him. And I think Core beats him as well. I've said it from day one. Those two guys I see beating Devin Haney. I predicted him to beat Loma. Yeah. I actually felt Loma won, but again, I'm not mad at the decision. It was close. But Shakur and Tank, I'm very, very confident that unfortunately David Haney is, like I said, he's sensational, but it's just those two flows are just different, man. They're different.
Yeah,
it's mad because we're placing a lot of emphasis on Core as well, and Core really hasn't really fought. Like obviously, you see, I think a lot of people are still sleeping on Shakur. They still don't know about him, but believe when I say this boy is something. He's serious.
Watch him clean up this division and clean up 140. You just wait.
Trust me. Yeah. But Flowz, from a technical perspective, that fight was brilliant, man. Amazing technical work. You can see two high-level elite fighters. I had a great time watching that fight still.
In the words of Joe Tesla, it's high-level, high stakes.
That man is funny, man. That whole the trio of Ward, Bradley, and Tessitore are just hilarious, man. They're so excited. Just shouting over each other.
Them guys are funny. Yeah, they added to the entertainment. Great fight, man.
Yeah,
I might watch it back again.
Yeah, I enjoy watching it back today as well. Like, it's a top fight. Two high level guys. That's what we want. That's the sweet science, Flowz. The sweet science. What a weekend, man. Great weekend in action. We've got a couple title fights to run down to preview for this upcoming week, Flowz. So let's get straight to it. They're all okay. Well, let's start with. Should we start with boxer?
Okay, yeah.
Lawrence Okolie defending this title against Chris Billam-Smith. Pretty sure this is in Bournemouth, isn't it? I think they're fighting this in Bournemouth as well. I think. So yeah, how is Chris? He's always getting these shots back home, you know. I don't know.
It must be. Yeah, I think he's going up to Bournemouth for Cody.
He is. Yeah, he is. Yeah. I think it's in Bournemouth. How's Chris Billam-Smith pulled that off? Cody's a champ, no? Well, boy, actually, I know how. Actually.
Yeah, he's the drop. He's got to follow it.
That's peak. That is peak. But this is a good fight because Chris Billam-Smith, I think, since the Riakporhe loss, has really been on a bit of a tear, Flowz. One of his fights and been stopping opponents and stuff. And I'll probably say improvement's been there as well. He's gotten better. And yeah, he's worked into a position to challenge Okolie for the title. I just think, Flowz, that for me, Billam-Smith really struggles to deal with the size and power of Richard Riakporhe. And Okolie's the same. They fight differently, Riakporhe and Okolie, but in terms of that size and power, Okolie's got that abundance, just like Richard. And I think that might be the unsticking point for Chris Billam-Smith again, unfortunately. Despite his improvement, despite him getting better, The one thing I will say though is obviously these two know each other very, very well because they used to be in the same camp, in the same gym together when Okolie was under Shane McGuigan. So they both know each other super, super well. And I think Okolie said that's the reason why he's going to smoke him because he knows him so well and obviously seen him up close and personal that he knows how to handle Chris Billam-Smith. And Chris Billam-Smith might feel the same way as well for us, to be fair. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I just think that size and power that Okolie has, we saw with Billam-Smith, he couldn't deal with Reactpour. It's the same with Okolie. It might be even more powerful. So I'd probably say Okolie might be he's even more rangy than Reactpour. So I think that's what's going to make him unstoppable.
Yeah. I can't look past Okolie winning this one. He'll be the villain, Okolie, but he's always the villain. He'll be a hostile accountable. I don't think he does care.
Is it
villain in his own time?
Flowz, is it going to be a classic Okolie villainous performance, do you think? I think it might be, though.
Yeah, it might be, but not all these villainous performances are stinkers, if I put it that way. Like, the villainous style can be enjoyable. Well, to a boxing fan, can be enjoyable. Well, for me anyway, but it's when it's like a legit snoozer. Like the last one was a stinker. Like you can be effective with that villainous style where boom, and you're landing clean shots, grabbing, you're hurting them.
Yeah.
You're doing clean work outside of the jab and grab. But when it's not clean and when it's messy, when it's a lot of tangled limbs, then nah. So he needs a clean performance. I wouldn't say an impressive performance, a clean performance and a stoppage, I think, is what he needs to give. Otherwise, they're going to just keep killing him.
I think the stoppage is there for him as well.
Yeah.
Billam-Smith, like I said, he's gotten better, but I think from his last fight or the fight before that, he's still prone to getting caught.
Yeah.
Was it the last fight where the guy had him in trouble and he had to battle back and he stopped him in the end? But I felt like the guy had him in serious dire straits and he had to really dig deep before he finally.
Who was it? I've seen him struggle enough times, Chris Billam-Smith, man.
Yeah, he gets hit, bro, and he gets rocked. And Okolie is probably the hardest hit in the division. That's why I just feel like it's a match made in heaven for Okolie. Yeah. I can't lie.
Tom McCarthy was the one who was giving him hell at one point.
Yeah.
But I can't remember who the last fight was. Maybe it was some random.
It was Albanian Kosovan or something like that. And was that the one where the knockout was dirty in the end, as he shut him down? But before that, he was getting caught and hurt bad.
He's in trouble.
Yeah. So I think Okolie, just that power is undeniable, man. And I think Shane McGuigan is going to probably want to win this one as well, because I think their split was a bit acrimonious. I mean, Okolie and McGuigan split. So I'm sure he would love to get one over Lawrence, but not with Chris, I'm afraid. I don't think Chris has got the minerals. Obviously, it's going to be a seriously pro Chris Billam-Smith crowd. It's going to be crazy for him, but yeah, Cody, I don't think he cares about it. I think he relishes being the villain in that regard, so he's going to enjoy it regardless before he gets a stoppage. So that's Boxer on Sky. Let's move over to Queensbury. Mick Conlan is fighting. I can't remember the guy. Is it Lopez?
Yeah, Lopez.
Is it Alberto Lopez? I can't remember his first name, but this Lopez guy is the guy who fought Josh Warrington and beat Josh Warrington. You know, Warrington's gotten stuck a couple of times with these random Mexicans, but this Lopez guy, majority decision Warrington. I think it was in Leeds again. It was a poor performance from Warrington, to be fair.
Horrible performance.
I don't know how it was Flowz. I don't know how it was an MD because it was shocking. I think we called for Warrington to call it up after that, to hang up. It was bad.
Horrible.
We thought that this Lopez guy was there for him, but terrible performance. And he claimed it. He claimed the title. Mick Conlan challenging for it again. Obviously, came unstuck in brutal fashion against Lee Wood, who we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, he's got this fight in Belfast. Another chance for him to, get a world title. I expect Conlan to take this one. The first fight against Wood, he was so close, and he'd win that fight until he got stopped brutally in that last round. This Lopez guy, I believe, is better than he's not as good as Wood. So if Conlan gets on his boxing, which I'm sure he will, he can take this in Belfast, hometown. Yeah, this will be a lovely win for Mick Conlan. And we predicted, I think, we did say Mick Conlan would become world champion at some point because he's really good. So, this one should be this one should be hard for him. I think this one. I think he'll grab this with two hands. Sorry,
I agree. I wasn't even impressed with Lopez that fight. I remember I was this.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Flowz. It was there for Warrington, but
unorthodox. He was throwing shots weird. And it was probably because of Warrington trouble how unorthodox he was. But Warrington was crap. Rabbit punching, dirty headbutts was horrible.
I remember Lopez complained after, said that was the dirtiest fighter he's ever fought. Like he said Warrington was like when they clinch, Warrington would be hitting him on his legs and stuff. Like he said he's never seen something like that before ever. Warrington was nasty.
Dirtiest fights I've watched, and he wasn't being warned. The commentators were letting him off the hook. They were saying Lopez wants out. Lopez was winning handedly in my eyes.
What's out? Do you know how far that is?
They said he wants it. Of course, because someone's biting you, headbutting you, elbowing you.
All Warrington, every single time, just boring him with his head. And Warrington's notorious for that, by the way. He's very notorious for it. He's very notorious for it. Dirty fighter.
But I think McConnell's too slick. He's too good of a boxer to come unstuck by Lopez. Lopez does have power.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
So that's one to watch out because he's unorthodox. He could throw you, but I think we've seen Lopez now. He's not an unknown quality, so Conlan can prepare. I think Conlan's going to become a world champion.
Yeah. In Belfast as well, hard to look past him. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of hard hitters and obviously a former Conlan opponent, Lee Wood, Mauricio Lara. Would you say this is the pick of the fights of the weekend?
Yeah, because of the history as well.
Yeah, so this is the rematch. This one, Flowz, I mean, that first fight was brilliant. And to me, Flowz, I said it after when we broke it down. I said for me, look, Wood can beat Mauricio Lara. He can. In that first fight, Flowz, I thought that Wood was piecing up Lara in pieces, and the blueprint to beating Lara was there, in the sense that he could just outbox him. And unfortunately, that constant pressure from Lara paid off in the end, and he was able to get to Lee Wood and drop him. And there was a lot of discourse on whether Ben Davison jumped in too quickly or not. But regardless, Lara got the W, got the KOW. But I'm just there thinking, bruh, rematch this immediately, because I think it's there for you. You can do this. All he has to do, and it's a hard all you have to do. It's not easy, because Lara's gonna come. Lara's not gonna change, Flowz. He's gonna come with the same pressure, the same style. Lara is Lara. He's not gonna change. Pressure, and if he catches you, good night. But from what I was seeing, Lee Wood was boxing him in large portions of that fight, outboxing large portions of that fight, and not only outboxing him, Flowz. Lee Wood himself is a power puncher, and when he was catching Lara was hurt. He was hurting Lara. Lara didn't like it. The only reason Lara stood by in that fight was because he's just a Mexican monster. He's a dog. It was pure Mexican warrior mentality. It's the only way he stuck around. But really and truly, he was getting caught flushed, and he wasn't liking it. He was getting wobbled. He was getting hurt. He was just fighting through dog. So to me, I think Lee Wood is capable of doing this. It's going to be very, very tough, because Lara is going to be very hard to break down. But if Lee Wood is able to box throughout the majority of the fight and catch Lara flush cleanly, I think Flowz can actually potentially stop Mauricio Lara. But it's going to be bloody difficult. He's going to have to really, really dig in and not get sloppy once. Because we said it in that fight. He said once Lee will get sloppy, if he gets caught, it's long for him. And that's exactly what happened. But he was winning that fight to me. He was in control up until when he got stopped.
Yeah, I agree with you. He was winning that last fight. But watching it, I just thought Lara was live. He was always, even though he was hurt, he was getting caught.
Yeah.
He was even just standing there at the point. So he was, but he was landing. He was still landing, and I was like, look, you can't let this guy land. Like, if you're gonna box, you have to box well defensively.
Well, I'm laughing because Lara literally was just standing there. He was no head movement, nothing. Just walking, standing there, just looking to just throw. Just so funny.
And even watching, I was like, Lara hasn't won this fight yet, because if he lands,
you mean Wood? Oh,
yeah. If he lands now, he could put you out. So for me, it was someone's going to get knocked out here. It wasn't going to go into this. Someone's getting knocked out here, and while you're winning on the scorecards, the fact that he's still in front of you, he could put you out.
Yeah.
I had a look at the bookies odds.
What's say?
Lara's favorite. So I was
Interesting. Okay.
But, which is it? Yeah, very interesting. But I do think it's the same again. Someone should get knocked out here.
Yeah.
I think we've got to credit Lara's chin because he was taking big shots.
Bro, his will to win again. Like I said, he was getting hurt, he was getting rocked, but he stood in there because he's a warrior. And yeah, he just thought, if I can just catch this guy, I can take it. So yeah, definitely credit his chin. Yeah, it's a tough ask because, like I said, that pressure on you 24/7, it can break you down mentally and physically. Wood just has to be prepared to go to, he has to be prepared to take it there if he has to. But he can. I reiterate, folks, he can win this fight. He can. This is a winnable fight.
It's a winnable fight, especially how we boxed last time. It's a winnable fight. Just be sharper defensively.
Yes.
Give him nothing.
And don't hang around. Don't hang around. Get the hell out of there if you have to. Like, you got to be caught on your toes. Because the moment you prediction. That's hard, man.
Because we struggled last time, didn't we?
Last time we struggled, but last time we struggled, but I said Lara.
Yeah,
and
I think we both said Lara.
I'm pretty sure we played out how we said. It's pretty sure he played out how we said it was Flowz. We said we would be boxing him, but he'll get caught in the end.
Yeah.
Oh. Wood's a warrior as well himself, and I don't know if Ben Davidson hadn't jumped in so quickly, would it? That was actually Lara would have finished. I don't know, but we said that he might be pissed off over the way Ben jumped in. Still,
he did protect. He did say, he trusts him fully. I remember him saying it. He wasn't happy with it, but he trusts him.
Bro, who I got winning this one? Oh man.
Someone's getting knocked out. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Lara again. I just feel like, unfortunately, because this is also the peak thing. Lara knows he can hurt him.
Yeah.
So that's always really dangerous for your opponent to know that, hang on, I can hurt you if I catch you cleanly, which is what he's going to look for, that sweet shot and know that you can't take it and go down. So because Lara now knows he can hurt him and drop him, it gives him a little bit of an edge to me, I think, mentally. So I'm going to go Lara again. Again, I feel like it might play out the same way, Flowz. I think Wood's going to have a lot of success in there. If he can get out Lara early and blitz him out early, perfect. But we know Lara's a warrior, so it's easier said than done. But yeah, tough one. This is harder for me to call than the first time, but I think I'm going to go Lara again. What about you?
Yeah, I'll go Lara, but I like you on Wood.
Yeah, I think. Well, if the odds are good, we'll talk off live. But if the odds are good, that I'm surprised that you've said that Wood's the underdog on this one. That's interesting.
I think he is when I had a look. Yeah, but I just think Lara stopped him like the 7th,
7th, 8th. Yeah.
And he was getting pieced up. But the fact that you might even try and get to him earlier. That's how. Lara's an animal. Come out of nowhere and decides piecing up
all these Englishmen.
Yeah, no way.
Oh, that's so funny.
Demon. Not even great technically boxing. Just
brother, this guy was no head move, nothing, just standing there, just for like I said, this guy's not even. Yeah.
He's the reason why Warrington's in the sky right now.
Never the same after that, Lara. Never the same. Finished him. Cooked him. Oh man,
Yeah.
That loss was hilarious. That loss was so funny. But yeah, man, let's call it a day there, man. Great episode, Flowz. Treated to great boxing. Good boxing next week to look forward to. You know what we do, guys. We break it all down. It's been episode 143 of the SZN Podcast. Once again, I'll be your boy Kam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
As always, guys, keep liking, subscribing, and supporting. Peace.
You taking a strap? I'm strapped up.
7, what was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.